We might be live. I might be talking to myself. Either are a good possibility. Let's refresh this, wait for this to start. If it goes, we can get started. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and talk to myself, which is not unusual. Do we have audio? There we go. There is audio. Let's turn that off because we don't want to listen to that. Okay, so tonight I thought, since I've got to design my own business cards anyway for an event coming up, that I may as well go ahead and talk to you guys about it. And there's just a lot of really good information on business cards, and I want to talk about some of the stuff I learned not to do. There are a lot of things. So the first thing I want to talk about is what you do not want to do in designing your website or your business cards. Gosh, reading things and then my head is over here and I'm reading over here and nothing is connecting. So the first thing I want to show you, this was an old business card of mine, and while it's pretty to look at a glance, colors look nice, it's got a painting on it, and you can't read a thing other than Lachri Fine Art and Lisa Clow Lachri, and you can kind of read under that where it says Fine Art Violinist or Fine Artist Violinist. Yeah, you can't read my phone number. You can't read my email. You can't read any of this, and you have to watch. Like at the time I did it, I'm like, it's good enough. If anyone has average eyes, they're not going to be able to read that. So even if they wanted to contact you or were interested in what you were doing, you can't read it. So yeah, layout's pretty. If this was in a big format, it's fine. I tried including too much information. This is a mistake that a lot of us make. It's a mistake that a lot of people with business cards in general make. Don't try to include your life story on your business card. Don't try to include every social media platform you've ever used on your business card. You've got to limit things, and what is there, you want to be really obvious, very bold, very, easy to, you want a call to action, basically. That is what your business card is. If people look at your business card and even if they could read it, you're giving them too much information, they're probably not going to be super interested in it. One of the things that a lot of people used to, I'm not sure what the lettering is. It's so old. This one was so old. But one of I lost my train of thought. One of the things that a lot of people used to do on these or on business cards is include a calendar. People will keep it because there's a calendar in their pocket. Don't do that anymore. It may have kind of worked back then. Everyone's got smartphones now. We've got a calendar. We're not carrying business cards around. Most people are not carrying many business cards around. I mean, even with me, if I get a business card, it comes home and goes in a drawer. So keep that in mind. Don't take up valuable real estate for stuff that just doesn't matter. Make it very easy for people to remember who you were, to associate that card with being you. That's a big deal. And in this case, that part was fine for me. I mean, I was doing a lot, like the art shows that I did, largely my band was playing at a lot of these galleries. And so, having the painting of me playing violin made sense. Now it definitely wouldn't, because I don't really play much anymore. So definitely, again, just stuff to keep in mind. They need to read it. So my best, we're going to skip from this to what was I still use it. My best business card is this one here. This one you can read. You've got all of the information there. You've got my name, the Lachri Fine Art. If you just go by your name, that's fine too. Something that says artist on it, I think, is a good idea, especially if you work in photorealism. And we'll come back to where that can run into a bit of a problem on business cards or be a bit confusing for people. I've got my website. Now, I've got 4 things. Most experts will recommend 3 things for people to contact you on. So in this case, my website, that's the most important to me, because if someone goes to my website, you've got all my information right there. Everything from my social media, my gallery, things that they can buy, Patreon, my about page, all of that is over on my website. So my main goal is to get people to that website. The second biggest thing for me is going to be YouTube. If people go to my YouTube channel and see how much content is there, that's going to be very interesting to people. Then, of course, my email and my phone number. So now, if I were for my phone number, it depends on if I'm going to include that on where this business card is going. That's not actually my phone number. Don't try to call or text it. It won't work. But if I were putting this, let's say I was selling paintings, maybe I might not put my phone number in that. That's not necessarily something that you have to do if you're selling prints or something like stickers and such like that. If I sell a large painting, people are making a bit of an investment, they can go ahead and call me. I'll answer that call. But for the most part, with me anyway, I just don't answer my phone. So it's not really necessary for me to include my phone number on every business card, again, depending on what venue that card is being used for. Now, this is the next thing I want to talk about that is really, really important. Where are you going to be handing these business cards out? First mistake, and my mom drives me crazy with this. I love my mom because she's trying to help. But we'll go to like the grocery store and she'll start telling the cashier how I'm an artist and trying to give the cashier my business card. I'm like, please don't. They don't care at all. Like, I appreciate how proud my mom is of me. The cashier does not give any craps about my artwork. So it's like they're just being nice to you and going, don't. So not only is she wasting a printed card, she's wasting money. I mean, they're fairly inexpensive, but she's definitely wasting money, and there's just no reason for it. So watch that. I know when I was young as an artist, I had in my head this great idea that if I just had prints done, I never did it, thank God, because it was way too expensive when I looked into it. But I thought, what if I could get flyers posted? And I'm going to go in Southern California, the parking lots are full of cars. I'll go and put like cards or flyers on people's cars of my artwork, and then they're going to hire me to do murals and all of these things. And I'm going to make so much money doing that, until I realized I couldn't afford those prints, because back then it was very expensive to do. That makes no sense, because that is not my target market. Like, maybe one or two people might be interested in an artist, but I just irritated them by leaving crap on their car. They're not going to call me anyway. Watch what you're doing with your business cards or your promotional things. Just randomly giving them to everybody really isn't going to do you pretty much any good. What you want to do is find the people who would be interested in what you're doing. Those are the people who you want to have business cards, postcards, flyers, whatever for. So don't just make something and throw it out for the world. So then going back to who is your target market, your target audience, that's key to selling your artwork or services or whatever you're doing. It doesn't even have to be for art, any business. Find your target audience. The only exception to that might be restaurants, because everybody eats, so you're pretty safe there. But I mean, as far as something like this, find your target. So this painting, this one works. It's simple. It's pretty. The only complaint I have to this card is sometimes people are confused because they think it's a photograph. So there have been many times when I got to talking to people about art, and I was like, yeah, they'll ask for my information. It's like, here's my card. Oh, are you a photographer too? No, what? Huh? It took me a few times of that to really click what was happening. They assumed that this was a photograph, not a drawing. This is colored pencil with an airbrush background. And when you shrink your artwork down into small form, I mean, when you look at my business card, it's not, that's not big. When you make your painting, especially, if it's a close-up like this, smaller, it always looks better. It always looks more realistic. If you blow this up, yeah, it's more obvious it's artwork. Little, it's not. So one thing that you may want to consider is including some art supplies, some pencils, something next to the artwork that gives that person the indication if it'll fit. If it won't fit, don't put it. We are limited on size on a business card, but that's the only thing that I've kind of run into, being that my work is so realistic, and especially when you shrink it down, it does look like a photograph when it's little. So, keep that in mind. But again, going back to target market. So this is kind of a nice general all-around business card that I can use for everything. It's got the very simple information there, sample of my work, great. The back of the business cards, I leave blank in most cases, and there's going to be an exception to that coming up. One of the reasons you want to leave the back of your business cards when you can, when it's fitting blank, is so people can write notes on it. If you're somewhere where you're talking to people and you want to get their information, they want to get your information, they want to know, like, random little things that they may write down or take notes on the back of that card, that's a good thing. So having a blank back, ideally, I like to do that. Now, there is, in the one of them I'll work on tonight, I may consider, it may be more valuable in this case coming up, that I might fill both sides. We'll see. Not sure yet. So those are things to keep in mind with that. And let's see, we have a couple comments here. Sarah said, I used to put all my social links on my business card. Yep, me too. I've since seen the error of my ways and now only include my brand name, real name. Yeah, see, keep it simple. Simple is so important when you're working on your business cards. Is little, very, very little information. So just the call to action. What do you want people to do? That's what you want to put on there. One of my old business cards used to include every style of work that I like when it might years ago. I think I was printing on myself, like literally myself, not Vistaprint at that point. But I would put on there that I did surrealism, realism, wildlife, marine life. I listed pet portraits, human portraits. I had every single thing on there. Again, you can't read it. No one's interested. That's not what your business card is for. That's your bio on your website, which you should have. If you're an artist and you're trying to make a business out of this, please do not make the mistake of calling your social media your website. Social media is not your website because it's not yours. It's your account, but not really. Facebook can get rid of that. Facebook's having some major problems right now. A lot of companies are losing people left and right, and you don't want to depend on them as your go-to place as an artist if you were making this a business. You can do free websites through like Wix, Weebly, all of those. It's not super expensive. Or in many cases free. You need something. Get your domain name. So it's, let's say we've got Rebecca Art, aka Clay Feathers. So maybe she has clayfeathers.com. You want something that you own that URL that you can direct where you want. And I've seen people use that redirect to their Facebook page. It's better than nothing, but don't do that. Don't, not if you want people to really take your work seriously. It really is important to make sure that you've got your site, your place that people know that they can go to find you. So moving on. Let's see. Rebecca says, I need a logo. You don't. Logos as an artist, I think it's fun. Is it necessary for an artist? Absolutely not. We're not making shoes. We don't have to have, it's fun. I do like logos, but you don't have to have it either. I don't waste too much time trying to come up with that. Like the two goldfish you see on this card, those turned into my logo, which is now, hold on, let me find the one that I'm currently using. Actually, I think it's on the bottom of here we go. It turned into this guy. Oops, pull up on the thing because I may end up using him. So, oh, here, let's put a background on that so you can actually see. New layer fill. That is, why am I not looking at what I want to look at? That didn't do what I wanted it to do. Why didn't I not see what I want to do? I'm so fast at using Photoshop when I'm not doing a live stream. New layer fill. There's what I want. That was way too difficult. So here's my actual logo there. Is it necessary? No. It's cute. It was fun. I like him. I use him on my business cards. I don't know that as an artist, it's something that you have to have. I really don't think, again, if you want to do it, fine. But I think a lot of artists will take, and I've seen a lot of businesses in general, they'll get hung up on the idea of, I need this amazing logo. Your logo could be like the outline of a flower. It could be anything. Don't go with a paintbrush. Everyone goes with a paintbrush as an artist. You can put a paintbrush on there to indicate that you're an artist, but don't use that as your, I don't know, I think it's a silly logo for an artist. But don't get hung up on your logo that you don't get the rest of the important stuff done. Getting your newsletter or email list or getting your website's the most important. Getting, that sort of thing done. That matters more than everything. Also, don't feel like it's so important for your business. Like I use Lachri Fine Art. I've been signing my artwork with Lachri for so many years because I didn't want to use my maiden name. So that's where I started using that, and that's where that came from. It's a combination of my name and my sister Christy's name. Is it necessary? No, absolutely not. Use your name. You don't have to invent something in order to make yourself known as an artist. Most artists will just use their name. Like Jason Morgan comes to mind. I think he uses wildlife or puts wildlife in there somewhere, wildlife Jason Morgan. But Jason Morgan is known as, Jason Morgan. So you don't have to have a made up name like I've done. It's fine if you want it, but don't waste so much time getting that done that you don't get the really important stuff done. Your website. Can you tell that's a theme here? Your website's super important. Let me get a couple questions. Thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible to have a logo. And even on this card, those goldfish, I may still include on the next one because, and I'll talk about that, why they're going to be a fit for me, or possibly for the one coming out that I've got to design now. But, and the colors worked, everything was good. I've got the more simplified one. They're just a cutout from my painting. Well, you probably can't see, I've got a painting back here that I did years ago. Started including those little fish just to make I made a stamp, thought it'd be cute to stamp on the back of thing. Anyway, it wasn't intentional. It was just something out of one of my paintings I thought would be cute, and I started putting them on stuff, and that's how that came up. But it wasn't like I went out trying to go, I need to find a logo. It was an accident, honestly. Yeah, Rebecca says, I love that, Fishy, no paintbrushes. Yes, and it's funny you say the no paintbrushes. So my band that I was in, my last band, me and the keyboard player would talk and try to get things going, and we're trying to get the logo that we kind of wanted to design or something interesting for the all our promotional stuff. The problem we had, he kept wanting to put music notes on everything, and I'm just going, how cheesy can you be? You're like 10 years younger than me. I'm the old lady here. Stop acting like an old man. Stop putting me, like, don't be so, I don't know, it seems kind of cheesy, I think, to I don't know, cartoonize, make yourself feel like a cartoon, like, oh, it's music, gotta include music notes. Oh, it's, you be a bit more, we're artists, let's get some creativity going in there. But yeah, like I said, the paintbrushes, in my case, I'm considering on the one coming up, or even on something like this, putting some paintbrushes laying across the painting, but not a logo of paintbrushes, if that makes sense. And in my case, it's because when you shrink these down, it looks like a photograph of an owl. No one realizes that until I point it out that that's artwork. Every time now have to point it out. So do I have a website provider that I like best? Yes, I'm using WordPress with the Divi theme, and it's hosted through emwd.com. Best service ever. So when you're looking at your websites, yeah, you can go with the cheaper ones, you can go with free ones. You want to avoid a lot of these super like bargain brand, super cheap, like, oh, it's $5 a month. You can spend $3 more a month with the company I'm with and actually get good customer service. Like, such good, like, I cannot, I've been with them since the early 2001. Same company, and every time I call, I have an issue with anything. There have been times that I screwed up and did something that caused my entire website to go away. This is before WordPress, but I deleted the wrong kind of file because I was screwing around with CSS and Java and didn't know enough about what I was doing, deleted the wrong thing, and now my website was gone. I panicked, and I was able to call them or I emailed them, send in the thing within like 2 hours. So it was about 4 a.m. It's up and running. He just went through what was saved. So really good company, and you don't have to spend an arm and a leg. It's like $7, $8 a month, I think, for their WordPress package. And WordPress, I love. There's some negatives, but for the most part, it's a really good way for anyone to get started with themes. But if you go to my website, lachri.com, I do have the affiliate links to both of those in the video, or at the bottom bar. The Divi theme that I'm using through WordPress. The WordPress part, the install, is included when you do the WordPress thing on EMWD, but that's my host. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, Brianna says, basically don't use generic symbolism. Exactly, ideally. And again, you may want to include like a palette or something on there, but that shouldn't be your logo. If you're going to make a logo, don't try to, yeah. Okay, Tamara said, what do you think of making the front of the business cards one solid piece of art with info on the back? And now, see, that's one of the things that I'm probably going to be doing for this event coming up. But that's because I don't expect many people to have any reason to write information about me down. If so, I'll pull one of these cards out and they can write the notes on this. But that's what I was talking about at the beginning, that EMWD. And again, if you just go to my website, click that link, it'll take you there. Plus, it's a affiliate link. It helps me out. But anyway, and just to be clear, it's not like, yeah, it's an affiliate link, but this is not a sponsored video or anything like that. I think I pay like $50 a month for my service because my website gets too much traffic. Wow, that sounds weird. But it gets so much traffic that the normal version the one that I would have used for years without needing an upgrade, no longer was fitting the traffic coming through. So anyway, in order to speed it up, I pay them a lot of money every month. But anyway, yeah, okay, so here's something that's really interesting. I can't say your name. I'm sorry. It's long. If you have the appropriate printer, you could also print your own cards. Here's the thing. Ink is expensive, like really expensive. And then you've got to buy the cards, and then you've got to make sure it printed right. Or I can go to Vistaprint, and it's not so expensive. I don't know. I like the quality better. It's just that I get the glossy ones, so I don't know if you can see that they're glossy. They're really pretty. I used to print my own, and it used to cost me more. Now, maybe things have changed because I haven't tried to print them in a long time, but it used to cost me more to print them. The amount of ink that it would take to print something like this, if you're just printing, number, tiny logo, and the name, yeah, you can print a lot for not that bad, but the amount of ink it would cost to go through a card like this, because I want full color, it's not practical. So it's definitely worth it for me to use. And I've been using Vistaprint for years. Again, no affiliation with them. That's just the company that I use. So let's go back with the let's see. Yeah, going back to the event that I have coming up that I'm at least going to be attending. I've been in contact with the people running it. I don't know if you guys are familiar, any of you who are reefers out there, and by reefers, I mean fish, not other things. But if you keep, saltwater reef tanks, you may be familiar with George from, what is he? Coral Fish 12G here on YouTube. Him and his partner Sean are putting on an event here in Dallas called Aquashella, which is this huge, it's got art, it's got fish, fresh salt. It's amazing. My nose is itching like crazy tonight. Super excited about that. As soon as I found out, I had bought my tickets already, and then I ended up talking to him about possibly painting, because I want to do he's got some really cool clownfish I want to paint. But anyway, got to talking to him. I'm probably going to have a booth there for that weekend. It's March 30th and 31st. There's a good, right now it looks like there is, but I want to get the final details before I officially announce I'll definitely be there. But if with that, I'm not going to bring every single one of my, Tamara knows what I'm talking about. I'm not going to bring in every single one of my paintings like I've done for past art shows. What I would want to do is bring my lion with the fish and the coral, because that's probably going to be the most impressive thing to my target market in that case, people who keep fish. You want to focus with your business on your target audience. So I could go and do an art show, which I've done. I used to do a lot of the art fairs and art shows. I might make a couple $100s, but I'm probably paying a couple $100s for my booth. I might break even. I might not. It depends on the show. Some make more, and it depends on if you're selling prints. If you sell prints, you're going to make more than trying to sell originals, because most people who go to that sort of event aren't wanting to spend hundreds or thousands of dollars, which is what my price range is on my paintings. That's just something to keep in mind, who your target is, and I'm not making a whole lot of money on those. So, I mean, because there's so much competition. I'm up against how many other artists? Or, what's a better way to go? In this case, here's a salt and fresh water, and then other animals too. I'm saying convention. It's I forget what they're calling it. It's like a show, or I don't know, you can buy fish and corals and stuff there too, and different things. I'll be one of several artists, but not one of hundreds of artists like at an art show. That competition is very different, and no one's going to have work like mine. The other artists that are there produce very different work. So I'm going to stand out so much more than I would at an art convention. So who is your target market? If you were having a hard time selling your artwork, or if you've gone to these art shows, art fairs, and you sit outside in the heat all day long and don't sell hardly anything because everyone else, you're up against there's nothing wrong with competition. We're not necessarily always in competition with each other, but you go to an art fair and oh my gosh, you have all of your competition in one location. It makes it a little harder. Another thing that you can do, let's say that you paint pet portraits. Now these get expensive, but like an AKC dog show, try to get a booth at one of those, or at UKC. They'll occasionally do it. UKC is going to be way cheaper. You just won't hit as many people. Those shows are real small. But I mean, a pet event, a pet expo. Can you get a booth at a pet expo? You're going to hit so many more people and get so many more possible clients, like even if it's just future clients, than you would at an art show. It's just a different, pay attention to who is your target market. I'm not saying art conventions are bad. They're fun, or art shows are, but I just never made nearly as much at those as if you can find a way to hit a better target market. So with me, I do a lot of marine life. So I keep talking about the lion. Let's pull him up because we're going to be looking at him in a minute anyway. Let's see. Which one do I want? Let's pull him up here. This shrunk too much. Come on. Come here. There we go. So this is the painting that I'm going to be bringing with me to this art show. And he is one of those things that no one's seen before, unless, I mean, you guys have, because you've seen mine. Most people have not seen anything like this. This is super, super unique, but it's so fitting to the marine life. I mean, everyone paints the marine life. Everyone paints, or not everyone, but at a show like this, the marine life, you'll see some differences from one artist to another, but here's a whole concept that is completely different than anyone else's. So in this case, I would like to use him on my business card. Got a couple problems. One, that's a lot of detail. So I'm going to have to either crop him super little on just his head or make him big and fill the back of the card, which may be the better way for me to go. Because people will have seen this lion in person, because the painting will be there and I'll be selling prints of it. They'll see this in person and remember that on the card when they see it. That'll right there is going to they'll remember who they got, what card this card is for. That will remind them, hey, I do want to check out this person's website. I really liked that painting. If you've got that, I don't want to call it a showstopper because that sounds braggy, but you know, your one piece that is the thing that people are going to stop and look at. That's the painting that on a business card for that specific event. I definitely want to use that if possible. I've got to include him somehow on the painting or on the card, because this is how people will remember having seen me, having talked to me. So, and even if I'm going to print this card anyway, because even if I don't end up going with having a booth there, I'm still going to the event and I'm going to be talking to other local fish supply stores and stuff like that. So, you know, the whole networking thing, and these are, again, my target audience, my target people. So this is going to be something I want to include, which is normally not a piece I would recommend. It's too busy for a business card. This one is going to be the exception because of this specific event, what the event is for, and the fact that people will have seen this original painting there, and that's going to be the thing, you know, for me. I should say my showstopper, not a showstopper. That seems less like full of myself. Let's see. Good question here. Brianna said, so it's basically very important in marketing yourself, understanding your audience. Absolutely. Like price range, competition, where you are, what you've got, etc. That is absolutely it. When selling artwork, and that's where most of us as artists are failing, we're missing the whole target market thing. We're trying to, and I can say this because I did it for so many years. We think we just need to be found. We need, you know, the right famous person or whatever will see our artwork and it'll get in the newspapers or it'll get on TV, and then everyone's going to know who I am and everyone's going to buy all my paint. That's not how it works at all. It just doesn't. You have to find who are the specific people who would be interested in the work that you're creating and go after them. Where are they? Where do they spend time? In my case, if I'm going to do more marine life, which I do, if you don't know this about me, when I first started with art, that was the only interest I had. Whales, dolphins, fish, anything to do with marine life, and surreal, like the space ones with dolphins and stuff swimming through it. That's all I did. And that I'd like to get back into doing more of. I still want to do more wildlife. This was a great way to combine the two type, you know, more wildlife and marine life at the same time, or land and sea. But if I want to do that, I need to go, where do the people who keep saltwater fish, those are the ones who are going to be most interested in this. I mean, other people, you're going to have a spillover kind of effect where other people will also like it who aren't necessarily super into ocean life. But the main people who are going to see this and go, oh my God, I need a print of that. The marine people who keep saltwater tanks. So that's going to be where I want to hit. You've got those conventions are one way, possibly forums. If some forums let you share your artwork, that may be a good way to go. You know, doing collaborations. In this case, I want to do a collaboration with George from, what is it? I keep forgetting it. It's Coral Fish 12G. If I want to do a collaboration with him, he's got people who keep reef tanks. If he can get people to check out my paintings, like this is how you want to find who is going to be interested in the type of work you're creating. Thanks, Michael. Let's see. Whoops, I just scrolled too much. We've got Big Blue Art said, my art isn't the worst, but I feel representing myself by websites or business cards, etc. is too early for my artwork. Should I wait or should I start now? I'd been painting, I want to say, for 2 years before I started my first website. If those of you who are old enough may remember the old Angel Fire websites, that was my first one. I had like animated dolphins swimming by. There was music. It was the most cheesy, horrible website you've ever seen in your life. But that's where I started. Now, the bonus to that, did I sell anything off the website? No. My work, I was too new. Now, while I was selling paintings, it was at like local coffee shops and stuff, but I wasn't selling anything online. The online presence wasn't really necessary at that point. But here's the thing. I had to start learning how to put the website together too. Putting together your website, if you're really getting into wanting to do this as a business, is as important. The business side is as important as the art side. You've got to develop both. So doing the website now, I would say in your case, if your work isn't good enough to like invest in a website, do a free one. Do a free website. Even if you don't tell people about it, you're not really publishing it. You need to start learning web design, what looks good together, what doesn't work. My old Angel Flyer site. But I wish that what were those websites? Or it's still the Wayback Machine. I wish it went way back that far, because it doesn't go back as far as when my site was really bad. But you want to start learning that stuff now. You have artists who are phenomenal, so amazing, but no one knows who they are because they didn't learn the business and marketing side of things. So, it doesn't matter how good you are if you don't know the business side. You've got to learn both. And so I would say start one of the free sites now, because you're going to have to learn. I don't think you necessarily need to run out and do a paid service. You may want to get your URL just so that you own it now if you have a name that you want to use, because that's like, I think I pay $25 a month for my first one, and then because I have several URLs through the same company. Now here's another thing: I don't recommend going super cheap on your URL either, because one of the problems you have, like GoDaddy, this has been a problem. They've historically had a lot of issues with this. Is they would say that the payment didn't go through when you went to renew it. Like, it was fine to get set up, but then they would claim people's renewal didn't go through on time, even if they did. GoDaddy now owns that and will sell it back to you for hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on how much they think it's worth. They are so sleazy. They claim they don't do a lot of the stuff that they do, but I've known of enough people that were screwed over by them. Avoid some of these cheapy ones. Like, I know there's like Bluehost.com and all these. I don't trust them. I have known so many people completely screwed over by these cheapy companies that no. So I use, like I said, even with my domain names, I go with EMWD. I pay a little bit more. That is the only thing in your case for Big Blue Art. If you feel your artwork, like if you can't sell it yet, you still may want to get your domain name. If your goal is to turn this into a business, go ahead and get the domain name now. I would not pay for a web service. I would have it that domain name hooked up to like a free Wix or Weebly account, both of which should be fine, and create very professional looking websites in all honesty. So, but start learning how to do that stuff now. Let's see. Lubin said, what if you make furniture? What convention should you go to for? I don't know a lot about furniture, so I'm really not going to say. I don't know everything about all the things, unfortunately. Ask my husband. I may think I do, but I don't know who that is for that. I'm not sure. Maybe talk to other people who create furniture and see, but I don't know for you specifically. Let's see. Maya said, what if you sell a service? Well, it depends on what that service is. So let's say my service is I do pet portraits. Again, going to AKC dog shows, cat shows, pet expos. That's where the people, what is it you sell? What do those people, even if you do, well, haircuts, everybody wants haircuts, so or needs those. So that may be easier to find your target audience. But, it depends on what that service is. You've got to figure out, here's my service. If I were looking to have this service done, how would I come across this person? Where would I go? Or, okay, try to put that yourself in their shoes. I'm looking around thinking, let's say I make pottery. Where would I go to buy pottery if I was looking for that? Like, that's the mindset you want to get into. I don't know the answer to that one. I don't know a whole lot about pottery, other than it looks cool. I mean, that's what you've got to figure out and think about. Even if it's a service, you can give your business card out to if it's a convention. Like, let's say, again, back to the pet portraits. I may not have a pet portrait to sell at an AKC show, but I've got samples of my work, maybe some postcards of them too, but something that lets people know to contact me. This is a way to get them to contact me, to hire me to paint their dog for them later on. So you don't just have to sell an item in order to do a convention or to do that sort of event. So I don't know how helpful that is. It depends on what the service is. Brianna said, so maybe have a couple different cards for different types of marketing you're doing. Exactly. So the card that I'm going to use, let's say I want to get back into doing a lot of pet portraits. I need a different card that I'm going to use for animal hospitals than what I would use at a fish event. That's not crossing. I mean, yeah, a lot of people at the fish event probably have dogs too, but that's not really what they're there for. Their mindset is not in I'm having my dog painted today. Going to an animal hospital, that's going to be different. And a lot of animal hospitals will let artists leave their cards there. And in that case, I want a sample of the painting or drawing that I have done of a dog with my contact info. And again, in that case, same thing. I want to go simple, not like that, like this. Just website, In my case, YouTube, not most people aren't going to need to include that. But website, phone number, what or email, you might include one like Instagram. You could include one of those if you want, but if they go to my website, they're going to get all my social media right there. So, well, I don't think not all of it shows on the social media. I think about it, I don't think Pinterest is there. I am limited to icons anyway, but they can find me and through that. So keep it simple, but I would put, in this case, instead of the owl, I would put a painting of one of the dogs. Now, if the dog is in portrait mode, flip the card to the side. It doesn't have to be this way. It can be sideways too. So just flip that way. So let me go through a couple more questions and let's see, get started. Tamara said, I love the idea of being the full image on the front of your card. I like to put 3 or 4 images on my cards and then let them pick which one they like. Yeah, and that's a way to go too, having different sets out there. And this is one of the things that I'm probably going to do for this fish show. I think I'm going to order a couple of different cards, and we'll talk about that tonight too. Olivia said, I don't know what my target market is. I like doing realistic animals, nature, but also surreal human portraits, psychedelic kind of work. Well, you know, you can do the art shows, which would encompass all of those things, but target, let's say you like to do animals and nature. What events, see what events your city may have going on too. Like they have, and I wouldn't want to be a part of this because no one's going to spend money in this, but like they have the Great Fest here in Grapevine. And they have artists out there and such. What are people looking to buy out there? Things to do with wine and grapes. It wouldn't make sense for me to fill a booth full of marine life. That's unless you're on the beach, then of course, then that works all the time. But I mean, out here, that wouldn't sell. So if I were going to do a show like that, then I want to focus on the work that I think will sell. I can have a couple of things of my other stuff that people, if they wanted to look through, but that's not going to be my main focus. So it just, focus on whatever specific thing. Psychedelic work, I don't know. You've got to figure out what type of people want the psychedelic work in their home. Those type of people, where do they hang out? That's where you need to figure out how to get into. So, I can't give you all the answers, unfortunately, on where the best place is to go. You've got to think about, this is the work I create. Who is the type of person who's going to like this work? Now you have to think, where are they? Where are they located? That's a big deal. Oh my gosh, no, stop itching. Let's see. Rebecca said, I used to sell a lot on eBay around the world. Ever use eBay? Yeah, and eBay's a good way to go too. If you've got time for it. I used to sell a lot on eBay, and then right around the time that the market crashed, what was that, like 2007, 2008, right around there, eBay had also changed their policy, so they were the way that they were charging for your listings cost so much money that I was losing money listing things on eBay more because you're not going to sell things every time you list stuff. And so I stopped selling on there, and then I started again. They changed their policy again to where your listing, you didn't pay for certain listings if it had buy it now, as long as it like up to $50 a month. So it's still worth doing. I do recommend it, but that's not something that I currently do. But I'm definitely not against it. I used to sell a lot of Italian Greyhound type paintings and prints on there. Let's see. Brianna said, finding your target audience is correlated to efficiency with how you spend your time in marketing. Yeah, it really is. Because if you're spending too much time, and this is the mistake that I made early on when I was doing my art, I'm looking at my art and I'm so proud of it. I'm like, everyone will like it. No, this is not how it works. You figure out who likes what you have. So if I want to do marine life, going down to Venice Beach was a good place to hang out, or going, where art shows, Catalina Island did well for me when I did some art shows down there. I didn't get rich. I basically paid for my trip. I didn't make a ton of money. I sold small things for like $40, $50. I found that most art things, you're not going to sell things. People aren't going to dish out hundreds or thousands of dollars right now. So if you can have prints of your work, that's a good idea. But yeah, you've really got to spend time on the marketing side, figuring out how to target the right people. Because if you're targeting everyone, like I have people going around wasting time, whether they're trying to build a channel or trying to build a following. Let's say just they're an artist on Instagram. They'll go to every other artist, follow me on Instagram, follow me back. No, that's not going to happen. You just wasted, well, now I'm laughing at you. So I mean, go ahead and do it to me because I think it's funny that you think that's going to work. That's mean. But you wasted your time. How much time did you waste today going to other artists, asking them to follow you? First off, I'm not going to buy your work. I'm another artist. Now, not to say I haven't bought work from other artists, but that's very rare. I mean, you're not targeting the right people. So yeah, figuring out where that is, you're right, Brianna, it's such a big deal. Debbie said, I have a website set up, but I can't figure out how to set up a store there. Any advice about that? Depends on what the website is. I am using WordPress, and I've got WooCommerce is what runs my store, and that is really good. I'm really happy with that setup. How many cards do you typically print at a time? Is there a printing company you prefer? I assume you like to redesign your card periodically. I have not redesigned this card in years, like since, I want to say it's like 4 years, 5 years. If I wasn't going to this event, I would probably leave it the same, minus, and I need to remember to come back to this other point about art conventions. But how many cards do I print? It depends on what it is. The event that I'm going to for Aquashella, if I have a booth, I'm probably going to print 1,000 cards. If I don't have a booth, I'll probably print 500 because it's more cost efficient to do that versus one of the other the lower number of cards. Most people don't need more than 500. 500 is going to last you a long time, as long as you're following what I was talking about earlier and not just handing it out to every single person you see in the world. The cashier at the grocery store does not care about your art. Even if she says she does. She's being nice. Doesn't care. Gotta convince my mom to stop giving my cards out to people. I think my mom goes through more of my business cards than I do. I rarely hand them out. Well, I rarely leave the house now. But I mean, I don't hand them out unless somebody really, you get to talk to someone they are clearly interested, I'll give it to them. Otherwise, you don't really go through that many. Now, if you're going to an art convention, you're going to an art show, people will take those cards. So you need to look into how many people are expected to pass through that show. Are they expecting 500? Are they expecting 2,000? That's going to depend on how many cards I print. So actually for this show, I may go with 2,000 cards. I'm not sure yet. But the more you print, the less per card it costs. So that's something to keep in mind. And for the printing service I use for my cards, I go with Vistaprint. I'm not saying they're the best in the world. It's just the one I've used for so many years and I've been happy with them. So it works for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and start on this. Speaking of Vistaprint, one other thing I want to talk about is going back to the information you want to include. So one thing I had kind of regretted, I did the NAMTA, it's a National Art Trade, so whatever thing. I was there with Derwent, or I was there, what do you call it? I was demonstrating, God, my brain. I was demonstrating their Inktense during this event. Now, this event had like Frederick's. This is actually where I first tried my Grex airbrush. The company that does Grex was there, so that's how I got to test it out before I knew I wanted to buy that because I really liked that when I tested. But they had, it's not for artists, it's for like art stores. So the people who run like Azel Art Supply probably would go through and see different supplies they may want to bring into their art store. But for me, I was able to talk, like I talked to the people who at Fabriano, the paper company there. I talked to Golden's. I talked to Faber-Castell was there. I talked to all these different art companies, the Karen Dosh, talked to a bunch of these different companies. And most of the companies pretty much ignored me until I told them how many subscribers I had. It's like, oh my, the reaction, it was kind of funny. Like instantly you've got their attention. What I should have done, and I didn't know this because it was the first time going to one of these, and next time I go, because I may go in the future with Colored Pencil Magazine, or I've talked to them about going with them at one point, but if I go again, I'm going to, on my card, have printed what my subscriber count, or how many subscribers I have for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Those numbers are what those people were interested in. They're not going to buy my artwork. I mean, I want my sample of my artwork so they know that I'm skilled in what I do. But those numbers were what impressed them. So you've got to consider that too. Again, who is your target market? So in that case, I would have my business card with my numbers and then my contact, the contact too. Maybe the numbers would be on the back of the card. I'm not sure. But I definitely, there was my target, were the people who were going to be impressed by the amount of followers I have, because they would want me to display or test their products and show you guys. They, Faber-Castell, or let's say, I'm trying to think who I talked to. Fabriano was really, that guy, he was so funny, the guy who ran that. But then Golden's sent me a box of airbrush paint, of a bunch of stuff when they found out how many subscribers I have, because they know I'm going to get that product in front of people who may be interested in that product. And I didn't have to agree, yeah, it's going to be a good video. I didn't even have to agree to make a video. They were just, they were hoping that I would, I'm sure, but you know, who was my target in that case? It wasn't artists, it wasn't people who were going to buy my supplies. It was the manufacturers, it was the companies who make the art supplies. So my business card should be different from them than it is for people who are going to buy the artwork. You know, you've got to, again, who's your target market for where you're at? So different business cards for different things is going to be a really good good way to go. That's cool, Heather. Hi. I always get this wrong too. Faith. Hi, Faith. We'll go that way. Let's see. Okay, so let's go back to, okay, we know this is the bad business card. Too much information. You can't see crap. So going to Vistaprint, let's go open that website. So this is the card that I actually thought was really neat. I'm not even sure if it cost a little more. If it's a little more, it's fine. The price was decent because right now they have their stuff 50% off. If you're not signed up for Vistaprint's email newsletter, I do recommend doing that because they have sales all the time. Sometimes their stuff's like full price. Sometimes you get 50% off. So right now it is 50% off. I don't know if I'm going to order tonight. I may come up with the design and then order the next time it's 50% off because I don't need these for a couple of months. But these look really nice, and I do recommend, I do like cards that have a little bit thicker paper, so I'm going to go with the premium on that choice. And then the price for these, I'll go premium, I'm going to go glossy, but see how it has the rounded corners? It's a little bit different. I don't know. Looks kind of nice. Makes my card stand out a bit, so I think that's nice. Now, another option they had, though, that was kind of interesting. Let me pull back a little bit before I go far on this. They also had another shape, square business cards. You know why I'm not for these? There's no chance of someone putting this into their wallet. I mean, even if someone puts my card into their wallet, it's not going to stay there. They'll probably go home and either put it in a drawer, throw it away, whatever. This thing is too losable. I could use it if I use it as like a hole punch and use those as a tag for a product or something like that, put my logo on it. That would be kind of a cool thing to have these for. But as far as business card, I'm not in love with this. This is very, like if somebody has a business card, something that they're storing things in, that doesn't fit. Let's say they've got an app where they scan the business card. That doesn't fit the photo of that app. Like, I don't like, I mean, yeah, it's unique. And there may be benefits to that one, but yeah, not for me. But if I want something that is still kind of different, kind of fancier and pretty, I really liked these round edges. So those are the ones that I want to go with. I'm going to go with premium. I'm going to go with glossy. The ones that weren't glossy, the images were always just, I don't know, they seem kind of muddy, the ones, and it's been years since I got a non-glossy card from Vistaprint, but I never liked them. I always felt that the glossy ones looked nicer, at least with them. I'm going to no finish. So like with this one, because they're half off right now, if I went with all of these things and I did not print on the back, I'm going to have to pay extra if I have anything printed on the back. $25.99 for 500 cards. So you see now why I don't print them myself. As long as you get them when they're on sale, you're going to save so much money. I would spend way more than that to print 500 cards myself because of the cost of ink. And still, I might screw them up. If they screw them up, they're eating the cost of that. I'm not. So I don't print my own cards. What I would probably do is either, I might even go 2,000. So if I wanted 2,000 business cards like this, $100. Not terrible. If I wanted 2,000 business cards, again, I print it myself, I'm going to pay way more than that, I'm pretty sure, in ink and cards and frustration and fighting with things and just no. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start designing. Now, when you design your card, I design mine in Photoshop. You can design on their website. They've got a lot of really cool, even this one here, the little, it looks like watercolor. That one actually would make for a good card if you didn't want your artwork on it. I also like to look through their designs to get an idea of what layout I might want to do on mine. So if you ever are like, I'm drawing a blank, I don't even know where to put stuff, what colors, I don't know anything, you can play around with, oh, that's kind of nice. This website's gotten way better on their design stuff, but you can play around or go through, look at their samples, and then design one that looks similar for yourself. So that's an option too. But I am going to upload or do the complete design myself. Because it's the lion, I'm probably going to go this one. So let's download that one. Or I'm not downloading it yet, but you go through this. And I'm going to, if you look up here under images, there's this little thing that says view upload specs and templates. I'm going to go ahead and download the template for this. And I want it for Photoshop since that's what I'm going to be using. And that is tiny. Where is it? software templates. That is what I want. I'm going Adobe Photoshop, download template. I don't even know why this is being put in a separate, I'm not buying that. Let's do this really quick because it should be in this folder now. I don't know which one that was. Probably this one. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and open with Adobe Photoshop. Now they have these guidelines on here that I don't use. I'm not even sure. Whoops, why did I do that? That's not what I wanted. I'm not even really sure what I'm sure there's a good reason for it that I just don't know. Yeah, I am using Adobe Photoshop, but I'm designing the main layout of the card here, and then I'll upload it over to Vistaprint, and all of the text I'm going to do on Vistaprint. So I'll write the text here on my card, within Photoshop, but I'm going to delete all of that before I upload the actual design to Vistaprint, because I found that it looks better if I use their text, their font, everything's more clear than if I upload an image that has font in it. You just get better results. So with this one, I'm going to go ahead, let's see. Yeah, you can use one of Vistaprint's pre-made templates with no art. It's better than not having anything. But if you can use your art, that's a good idea too. But yeah, you definitely can. I like to have something that's going to help the person to remember who I am. So did they see one of my paintings? They're going to be more likely to remember that. And here's the other thing. Your goal is to get people, in most cases, to your website, so that they then have all the information. Maybe that's where they buy prints. Maybe that, wherever you want to get them to go, you need something that's going to catch their attention, something that's going to impress them. So I kind of like doing that whenever possible, having a painting that they're going to remember and feeling, driven to go look me up further, to go look into more information. And that's another thing. Another reason you don't want too much information on, oh yeah, it's the guidelines of trims, which I get, but that's what these ones are. Watch. Take these off. I don't need, I'm going to clear my guides. I've still got my trim, so I don't really need all of that. You've still got your guidelines and trim. Anyway, I just don't like them there. So, what was I going with? I was on a tangent and I just lost it. Let's see. Oh, got it. You don't want to put your life story or too much information on your business card, because if all the information is there, they have no reason to go to your website. There's no way you can fit as much impressive information on your business card as you can on your website. You want to get them to your website. In most cases, that's going to be your main goal. So you really want to, don't put so much information here that they don't feel the need to go look there too. So, I mean, there were times I was trying to put my price list, I've made so many mistakes. I'm trying to help you guys not make them. So, the barcode business cards. Okay, so with the barcode thing, or not the barcode, but what is it, little scanny, little square, there's a name, cannot remember right now. You can use those. Most people aren't going to scan it. They're kind of fun. It seems more like a novelty thing, because if you've got a decent URL like lachri.com, super simple, they're just going to type that in. Most people aren't going to bother to pull up the scanner to get to my website for that. So I don't include those on mine. I don't think they're really necessary. So, I mean, if you're doing a postcard where you've got more space, more real estate on the back or whatever, then okay, fine. But I'm not going to do that. Okay, so on this one, I want to go with the square. I've got too many things open. So I want to make sure if this card is going to let me do, okay, good. This one will let me do a backside. Will let me do full color. I wonder if it'll be glossy though. So for 2,000 cards, it would only cost me another $14.30, because again, they're half off right now. That's not half off. That's not 50%. But anyway, I don't know how they're figuring their discounts. But I can include, I think I'll do the color, I'll do the gloss on the front with the lion, and then the back will have my other information. So, and it's only another $14.30 at this point. So see, again, I don't have to deal with trying to figure that out on my own. That makes me happy. Let's go ahead and pull Photoshop back up. So I know I wanted my lion. Let's get him down here. Nope, not you. You aren't what I want. Go away. You need to be separate. Let's drag you over. And, oh, you're going to be too big. Let's make my life difficult. Okay. I'm going to pull you out. this what yeah, this is what I'm going to shrink you way down. So one of the things I didn't know for years of using Photoshop, I was always frustrated with like how to keep my perspective right when I shrunk things down. Hold down shift while you drag it and it doesn't distort the perspective. The amount of years I went through not knowing that. I mean, it's been years since I've known it. It wasn't recent that I found that out. But it cracked me up because I probably used Photoshop for a good 8 years before I realized. Maybe not that long. And yeah, this was way easier. Those little tricks. Okay, so now you're fine. You can go back up here now. That's not what I wanted. What just happened? That's not what I wanted. You are what I wanted. Did I not save it? I didn't save it. I'm an idiot. Hit enter and save the thing that you're trying to do. Oh, I lost my chat window. Let's see. So how do you get people to know about to know what you're about, but not to put too much on it? Usually I put way too much. Well, it depends on what you're doing. So marine life, you know how they're going to know what I'm about? I'm going to have a photo of my marine life on it. And it's going to, you know, it says Lachri Fine Art. So in your case, yours may say cocoa art. That may be all you need to include. You don't need all that info, you know, you don't need to put on there when you were born, how, you know, your favorite type of taco, or you just don't need that much information, and you don't need every social media platform ever. There, I hit enter this time. You're still not quite able to see what I need there. So I'm going to, one of the things that I usually will do, I'm just going to duplicate you, pull you over, whoops, pull you over it and make you, there you go. I can see the rounded corners where that would crop, just dropping the opacity so it's not clear, but I can see where I want this positioned. But you don't, you know, you want to say that you're an artist. That's it. If there's no mystery, they have no reason to go look up more information. Hopefully when they meet you, there was something about you. Maybe you're funny. Maybe you're the most awkward person in the world, and that alone made them want to know more, because they're like, wow, that person was super, like, that was the weirdest handshake I've ever had in my life. Like, why was it backwards? And that may make them want to go find out a little bit more about you. I don't know. I don't know what it is that will trigger each individual person. But hopefully you had a bit of a conversation with them and didn't just hand them the card, first of all. That's not going to do you any good. There should be a reason they wanted the card, and that generally comes with the conversation. Whether it be because you were at an art show or some kind of event where they saw your work, or, you know, there should be a reason they got that card. There should have been a conversation there. If there wasn't a conversation and it wasn't in an art show where they picked up that card, you know, at the where they could see your artwork, then it doesn't make sense for them to have the card. That sounds more like someone who's just randomly walking by and throwing the cards at people. So you should have had a conversation with them. Of course, there are exceptions. Again, if you're at an art show or art convention and people walk by and just grab the card, hopefully they've seen your work right there. They know what you're about because they've seen it. Or let's say you do pet portraits. You may include pet portraits. Like if I had it in an animal hospital, I would probably use the term pet portraits on the card, pet portrait artist or whatever, custom pet portraits. Simple. That's it. I'm not going to put, I also do surrealism. I also do this and I also do that. That's not my target market at that moment. They can go to my website and see the other things that I do, but that's not it. You know, let there be a bit of mystery there so they can go, well, that, and they need to be able to read it. So that turns out to be a big deal. Found that out the hard way. Let's see. Now I'm okay with cropping up off some of the top and some of the bottom. And I'm okay with that. So what would be cropped at this point? Part of a jellyfish, tail, that fish is kind of close. No one's face is chopped off. I'm okay with this. Actually, maybe just a little bit more that way. That is a decent fit. And then I'm going to, on top of that, do something down at the bottom, a design, and it's going to say Lachri Fine Art. Ooh, I wonder if I can have that printed in like gold, because they do out for that. I'll have to play with that. Let's see. Sarah said, I realized if my website was on my card, people could find my social media from there. Exactly. You just don't need all of the information ever. Your business card is not your place for your life story. It just isn't. I wanted it to be. I loved the idea, but it's not. Now, let's say you do want to include more information. Have postcards printed where you can put in a little bit more. You can have maybe a little info about you on the back with a photo of your artwork on the front and your name or whatever. That is an option as a promo material. That works out really well. The biggest thing that the postcards worked out for me was when I used to teach classes at Michael's or at Hobby Lobby. I would have the postcard with samples of the work, like because for me, I taught so many different mediums. So it's like graphite, charcoal, but I needed samples of the work because people, when they hear graphite, they think like a stick figure drawing. No, that's not what I'm teaching you how to do. So I had samples of that on the front, and then the back had my schedule, how to contact me, how to sign up. My website, of course. That was before social media was very big, but until the last few years of teaching. But anyway, that alone was one of the best things because I just left that postcard up at the front on the tables of the store. Like when people would walk by at their little what classes are available, they could just take that with them. And that did way better than a postcard would have, or not a postcard, a business card would have done. The business card in that case, a little too small, didn't really show enough for the amount of information in order to sell them on signing up for my class. To really sell them, I needed to tell them, you didn't need to have experience, because if someone just saw, super detailed work, they'd look at it and go, oh, I can't do that. I'm not that advanced. No, my class is for everyone. I need to make sure that they know it's for beginners. You don't have to have ever picked up a pencil before. It's for beginners, advanced, whatever. I needed to get that information to them. So a postcard was a better way for me to do. Now, let's say you're at an event where you are doing pet portraits, or you're trying to get people to sign up to get pet portraits. Maybe then you want to have a price list or something like that on the back of a postcard, but not on your business card. So it's not that you can't advertise or give more information. It's where are you giving that other information? In what format? And on a business card, it just doesn't fit. So there we go. I want to see, on this one, let's find out with Vistaprint. I think I'm going to go back a couple because they had something with gold, and I don't know if that's, because I do think that would look cool in like a gold shiny that said Lachri Fine Art over the lion. Maybe it'd be a terrible idea though. I've got to decide. I don't know. Glossy matte pearl, soft touch linen. Okay, it doesn't really say anything here. Okay, let's go for it again then. Then I said I wanted to do this. Now I do know I want this kind of swirly look thing. Oh, I don't need this. This is, you can go away. Wait, why are you there at all? You weren't there just a minute ago. Go back. What did I do? Is that what I wanted? Yeah. What was that? I don't know. Buttons are hard. That is what I was looking for. Okay. So, one thing I do know that I want to do is text an option? No, not yet. One thing that I want to do is get this kind of swirly look. So I liked on this business card, let's shrink you for a minute. I lost my chat. One thing I liked on this business card, if you look under Lachri Fine Art and then you look at the border between the art and the information there, I like how it was boxed in and had the little swirly thing. So I would like to have something similar going across the lion with, again, Lachri Fine Art on the front of it. And then the back will have the contact stuff. So, let's see. Let's pull this back up. Not that one. Don't need you yet. So I've got these swirls, and I got these ones from Storyblocks. If that was the one that used to be Graphic Stock. If any of you still have memberships with them, they have stuff like this, these vector images. And this is what I'm going to play with. They had more though. I don't know. I guess I can play with one of these for now. That and maybe lines. Which one do I like? I think this bottom corner will probably maybe work. I don't know. Wait, let me see if there's better borders. I don't know that those will work that well, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, there was another one that I just scrolled past. Oh, did I download it? I think I did. Well, where did I save it? Oh, no, that's not what it was. That isn't the button I just meant to hit. I'm just gonna hit all the wrong things. Not you, Flourish Elements. What was it called? guess I should figure that out. ESP, yeah, maybe I didn't download it yet. Set of Vintage. Okay, Set of Vintage, that's the name. Let's see if that had something that was going to work for me. That one kind of looked like it might maybe work. Maybe. Let's pull that up and take a look. Set of Vintage. So that was this one. So this is pulling up in Adobe Illustrator, which is not, oh, which apparently I need to update. I'm not updating you right now. Some of these are kind of cool. I kind of like this bottom one, the little swirls, and that might be a cool way to put the name, maybe? Oh, what do you, no, I don't need to edit a video. That's where I hit the wrong button. This one's maybe. I'm not going to edit that just yet. Let's see if I've got better swirls. So with looking at stuff like this, you want these little embellishments. You want to keep them pretty simple. No, this video is not being sponsored by Storyblocks. I've done videos, sponsorships with them in the past. This is not one of them. But I really like their service. Like I use this website a fair amount, and I'm using it more. Like I got it originally I started working with them originally when I did it's been over a year. I don't know how much longer I have my membership, but I did that one because you could get a lot of reference photos from them, like wildlife and stuff, which was pretty cool. But they got bought by Storyblocks. They've changed a lot of stuff. The thing I find myself using them mostly for now is stuff like this, like little images that I want to put, whether it be on my website or whatever. It's kind of cool. Lots of stuff. I'm not loving any of these. I wonder if I put in swirl, but maybe I should have put in, no, maybe not border. I'm trying to think of what term I would want to search. Oh, thank you, Zaya. That is so sweet. What is it about your logo of the goldfish and gold foil on the back with the ocean lion to set off the good? That would look cool. That really would. See, and I don't know how, because I've never tried to do gold foil with Vistaprint. I'm gonna have to look into like how that works, and I need to make sure that it stands out. I'm gonna have a little bit of a hard time with that lion. He's got so many colors, you're not gonna be able to read much, so I may have to do a border. I'm gonna have to play around with some different designs, which we'll work with in a second. That sounds really cool. Let's see. I'm still looking for just the right one. Actually, you know what? I can pick one now and then go back later and decide, so you guys don't have to watch me be indecisive. So let's just pick one of these. I'm going to export this as a, yeah, PNG. That is what I want that. Okay, now I can pull that up into Photoshop. I think these swirls are a little bit too elaborate for what I want right now, so let's just go ahead and close that. I don't need that one just yet. Let's get that out of the way. And I'm going to go ahead and... Where did you go? You. Oops. Let's see if any of you... And I can make my own swirls. It's just kind of easier to use one of these. So, I have a new idea, though. So many ideas are crossing my head right now. This is what happens when, oh, that didn't come through transparent. Yeah, it did. No, it didn't. That was supposed to be transparent. Oh, I didn't save that right. Hold on. Let's try that again. I don't want to update right now. Use, this one's not the same as the one I used last time. Preview, script, what? Layers. This file type isn't the same as the, I mean, it's the same file type, but it's not doing... It's not giving me the... Huh. Seeing if I can do this the way I did the last one, but it's not really giving me the same options. So this file type is not the same. So that's the thing with Storyblocks. Some of the file types are just different. Or it's the same file type, it just doesn't have the same layers included. So that's going to be a nope. But then the other thing that I just was thinking with the lion, since one of the problems I'm going to have with the lion is you can't see, oops, I want that. Try searching on filigree. Ooh, good tip, baby pandas. I think I've been there before. There's so many great places to get a lot of this information. I think that's where I got my last ones, because my, use the word flourish. Ooh, good tip, Kathy. Thanks. Okay, we're going to come back to that, or looking at those. Which makes sense, because look at the definition, or they're described as flourish. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Common sense, not my forte. Let's pull him back up really quick. One of the things that I think I may do is put a transparent bar. That may work well. So let's go ahead and make a new file really quick. Because I need this to really show. That works. I need to change my settings to stop automatically doing these in certain ways. Okay, layer. I need a new layer fill. Solid color. Okay, let's go with a teal. I'm going to drag this over here, and we will change its size, and I'll make it transparent. But I'm thinking, actually, let's get you out of the way now. Wait, I'm done with you. Go away. I'm thinking about using this all the way across, and this is going to, you'll still kind of see the background, but it's going to allow the font that I put over it to actually show up. And it depends on how I position it. So something down kind of at the bottom might work. Let's pull this back up. So this is too far at the bottom, so that would have gotten cut off right there. I'd have to cut part of the lion's foot. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to do that. We'll find out. Let's get you out of there. No, don't like that. Okay, let's make you disappear. So I think I'm just going to have the word going through it all the way. Coco Art said, would making a business card like this work with paint tool? But I have no idea, because I don't know what that is. Zero idea. And the same for Procreate. I don't know. I mean, it's Photoshop. Well, yeah, Photoshop can also be used for digital paintings, which I've done. It's a little bit different of a photo editor than certain other ones. Yeah, you probably could. I mean, I'm basically just moving stuff around and coming up with a general design. But one of the things that you can do with designing the business card is just take your image, upload it straight to Vistaprint. Because as you saw over here, I can just upload it right now. Like, I'll show you. And put this, let's see. Once I find him. I guess that one doesn't drag. And he's going to be on the card already. So I can just do a lot of the design right here. The only reason I'm going to want to do a lot of the design, like for the owl, this one here, let's pull you up here now. For the owl, I did the design here because the text, or the bars, I needed to be there. Actually, I think I still have the original. Let me see. I can show you what it looked like that I uploaded. There it is. So this is what I actually uploaded. Now that for my owl card, yes, I designed this in Photoshop. I did the swirls, everything, put it together. But that was the image. The text, you can do all of that over on like Vistaprint or one of those print sites. So you don't have to use Photoshop in order to do it. If you want to do something like this, like I said, the design, the swirls and all that, that was done in Photoshop on that one. But with this one, with the lion, that may not be necessary. Depending on what I want. Now, I do think I'm going to want some of the little swirls at the end, like here, and then have Lachri fine art in the center is probably what I'm going to do there. But I mean, like I said, you don't have to use, if you don't have Photoshop, it's not, it just depends on the way that you're coming up with your design or what you want that to look like. So most photo editors are going to be able to do what you need. I can't tell you for certain with a lot of those just because I've not used them. Ooh, good tip. Michelle said searching for swirl page dividers or page breaks brings those ones up. Yes, that is what I want. Okay, page divider. Page divider. You guys are genius. My brain was just not coming up. Even just page divider by itself. Am I spelling divider? Is it D-E-V-I or D-I-V? I think it's D-I-V. I can't spell. Yeah. And I want them to be vectors, if possible. Those seem to, ooh, yes. Oh my gosh. Already there's that one. Let's see if there's, oh, they don't, okay. This one isn't using that many. It has some. I've got a few different, ooh, this one looks like that might work. What file type do you have? Let's see if you will give me what I want here. Maybe. There's a few. I like this bottom. It's always the last one on these that I kind of like. Yeah, this one looks like it's going to give me more what I want. I don't know how to use Adobe Illustrator at all. I've never opened the file until like 10 minutes, or the program until about 10 minutes before the live stream tonight. So I figured out on one of them how to get the thing to do what I wanted, but I don't know if this is, there was like, I did something, I dropped the opacity down, and I don't know, it saved it the way I wanted to. Let's see if this one does. But seriously, don't have a freaking clue what I'm doing. I don't know. Let's see if that goes. Maybe no. Oh, wait, this one, yeah, okay, so this one does look like it's saving the way that the one that worked did. And I think I'm going to search more, ooh, I kind of like that one. I'm going to search different dividers too. Like, I'm definitely not going to decide on one for certain tonight because I'm being too indecisive, and you guys don't need to sit here and watch that. Watching me not be able to make a decision doesn't sound like fun. And then we had you, where was it? This one, I think. See, I could just do straight lines and then the flourishes too. No, you weren't what I wanted either. I think I'm pulling up the one that I had open earlier. I have a new idea. New plan going through my head. But yeah, designing business cards, I will spend an entire night coming up with everything exactly how I want because I am a crazy person. And that's what I do. Is it this one? What is this one? Let's find out. Is it this one? It is. See, this one had the transparent background. I don't remember how I did that. Like I said, don't know how to use Adobe Illustrator. I should probably learn before I do a video. Yeah, that's, Ursi said, making the lettering on business card bigger always gets you more business. Absolutely. Get that lettering big. It's like, when we go back to the first video, or the one that I was showing you here, look at this. Well, not that. Don't look at that. I mean, you can. Look at that. You can't see anything. No, and this is big. Like, this is blown out. My business card is like 1/3 of the side. Like, that is so big on my screen, and I still can't read that. That is such a poorly designed, like, it's bad. So, yeah, get that. I mean, and you go back then to this one. This card's been wonderful for me, but it's big. It's bold. You can read it without needing a microscope. That's a big deal. But you know, you're absolutely right. Let's see. Can I put the transparent info bars in 3s on your card to move the eyes across your line artwork? Could you put the transparent? I'm not sure what you're asking. Oh, I see what you're asking. Yeah, you definitely could. Oh, did I not save as a PNG last time? I bet that's what it was. Nick, I think that is what I screwed up. I think I meant to, and I think I sent it something else started with P. I'm a genius. Okay. So I'm going to keep those there. So again, I can see the size of this. Where are my borders on? No, not that. I can pull him in a little bit more, which gives me a little bit more wiggle room on where the font can be without covering him completely. Because now here's the thing on this. I don't need people to see tons and tons of detail in this case. They're going to, anyone who has the business card, who gets this business card from that event, will have seen the painting. I just need to remind them of the painting, if that makes sense. So this isn't like a print where I need you to see everything. I just need you to remember what you saw in person that hopefully invoked some sort of an emotion. Because if I can get that kind of connection with that person, and then this will remind them, that is what I'm going for here. So I can go ahead and shrink this down a little bit more, I think, safely, without losing what I need. So still staying in the bars, because I was going to blow it up bigger so you could see more, but it's like that really isn't necessary. If I do this, pull him up. Oh, I don't want to cut off the fish's face up there. That I think is going to be better. You can see where those lines are. And then I can put the font down in the rainbow water. Technical term. So let's go ahead then. Going to pull you back up here. Get rid of this. No, actually you can come back. I'm just going to make you more translucent so I can barely see the bars there. Okay, so I did like those flourishes. But I think what I want, whoops, that's not what I want to do. Let's chop the one that I like. I think I like the bottom corner one. So I just cut the rest out because I don't need them. And now my plan, that black won't show, so it's going to need to be white. Let's go ahead and highlight that, make it white. I'm just going to paint over that. No, it doesn't. It's actually easier in most cases, like because of the way stuff separates. Let's do you. Full opacity, just scribble the white into this. I may change my mind. Actually, I'm almost certain I'm going to end up making that more of like a pale aqua, but let's see. I just need to make sure it's something that's going to stand out. So let's drag you over. This is not a Photoshop tutorial. It's not intended to be. So for anybody who's going to leave a comment later on, obviously not tonight, but I always get the comments later on. Well, I can't see what you were doing in Photoshop. And it's like, it wasn't a Photoshop tutorial. You could see what you needed to see. I am not teaching you how to use Photoshop. I don't even know how to use it very well. Let's go. Ooh, yes. I think the white may be a good choice. We'll see. Yeah, that should show up nicely. Put one on each, so let's duplicate that. There's a better way to do that, and I am not finding it. That's not it. Yes, it was. It's down here. I never remember. Layer, duplicate. That's what I want. Pay attention, Lisa. I really should remember to title stuff, and I never do. Is anyone else really bad about that? I had a friend of mine. I sent him my Photoshop files. He was doing some graphic stuff for me years ago. Oh, was he frustrated with what because I don't title things. I'm so bad about it. Let's go ahead and flip that. And I'm going to have to reposition those. Those aren't, yeah, that's, there where they go. And I'm pretty sure that this is going to possibly, nope, that would actually be okay. And I'm not sure that I'm going to leave any of this. We'll play around with that in a minute. With the bars, actually, if I leave that, those are going to have to be smaller with a bar going across it. So I already know that needs to, those aren't going to stay. In which case, swirl left can just go away. I don't need you yet. See, it's a very time-consuming. You're just going to spend a whole lot of time messing with, sound like I was drunk there, a whole lot of time, a whole lot of time messing with, like, little things, coming up with the perfect design. Now, here's a big tip. Once you come up with your perfect design and you think it's perfect, you need to take a business card, anybody's business card, shrink down your image on your screen to the size of a business card. So you, like, when you hold it up, it's the exact same. Can you still read it? Does it still look good? If not, gotta start over. That design is fix that design. And there's a possibility on this one that I may change it so that it's flipping vertically and the lion is just the lion's face and some of the fish that you see, not the whole thing. That's a possibility on this. Probably not, but it may have to happen. So we've got to, we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see how all of this works. So now him, this one I got rid of. It wasn't going to work as I intended, but I do need it for something else. And let's change your color. some thin little bars. Oops. I am not totally sure what size I think this will look good. Maybe 2 of those. Let's duplicate that. I want one super thin. Actually, let's make you bigger. Whoops, that didn't work. Yeah, 12,000%. That would explain the problem. I wanted 200. Let's see. Have I tried invert the flourish? Not for this one. I'll play around with different things. Keeping business cards simple and elegant as in design. Gets more business most of the time. Yep. And like I said, the only reason that I'm putting this lion for this one is because for this specific event, my main focus for if I have a booth is going to be this painting. And this is what people would remember. And so I really want to include him. Normally, I wouldn't go with this. Normally, and I'm going to show you another design, which would be a much better fit, I think. But let me get this shrunk up. I want a kind of thicker bar, little bar. That's what we're going with there. So, oops. Grab the right layer. Hey, that works better. So this is a possibility. We'll play around with that. Let's move you. And I'm not sure which direction I'm going to want that to go, but let's go ahead and flip you for now while... Okay, and then possibly having the text. Now, again, this would basically be the front of the card, the back of the card on this design would be my... let's just actually save this. Let's see what this would look like. Let's play with it. Let's go ahead and... export as. And I know for absolute certain this is not exactly how I'm going to go. This is just my main, we'll go lion 1, our first attempt. And then I'm actually going to switch and show you a better design if I wanted to go, which would work for this event too. The thing is, that painting is the one that people would remember. So that's why the main, I mean, I'm kind of violating my own like tips on the way I think, what I would recommend most people do. I'm going against that. I normally wouldn't say to put a whole painting on the thing, but in this case, for this event, I think it's a fit. Like I said, for some events, like putting the, is that right? Dimensions, I guess that's okay. Putting, yeah, that actually think would look nice. Anyway, putting the like social media, my numbers, like let's say for this case, for this show, if I put on the back of the card, you know, I have this many subscribers, I have this many followers on this, I have this, they're not going to care. No one's going to be impressed. I just look like I'm bragging. Like it doesn't make sense to include that kind of information in that case. So those are the things that you want to think about for the event that you're making these cards for the specific purpose. What information is going to be best to include? Because what I would include for this event, like I said, this would not be the design I would go with in almost any other situation. The only reason I want to include that, and honestly, I think I'm going to take the swirls out altogether and just leave the lines and then put my name. I don't need the swirls. Swirls can go. So even just seeing it like this, I know that can go. But what I would do for text, let's go. I'm going to change that to white. And I'm going to change the font. They have a lot of fonts that you can go with. The font needs to be fairly bold. What is it? Georgina or something like that I use all the time. That one works pretty well. Oh, that one's kind of cute. Let's go down. should be, oh, do they not have, yeah, there it is, Georgia. That one works. I use this on most things, but that without, I think just over the bars, if I get rid of the swirls, that would probably work. I'll play around with a few more things, but I think I'm just going to leave the 2 horizontal lines going through with the white, and then the font, I'm going to get rid of those swirls. I may use the swirls on the back for something, but it's definitely not, I mean, well, I could change the size too. It doesn't need to be that big. Let's go with maybe 16. But even with the 16, I mean, yeah, it fits, but I don't think those swirls are necessary. I think those are going to be removed. Can I do, I wonder, a drop shadow on this? I don't even know. I've got a few things that I can play with to make that stand out more. But that could be one side, and then the flip side of the card is where I would have to put all of my whatever information. And it doesn't cost that much for full color, so I probably would go color on mine versus grayscale. Like when I print my postcards for Patreon, I typically just go grayscale on that. The difference in cost is usually a lot bigger than that, but I have no reason to need color on the back anyway of those. But this is also where I have my postcards printed for Patreon. So anyway, that is one potential design. Now the other one that I'm considering, whoops, is the clownfish. So I think 2 paintings that are probably going to be the most effective for this show, you know, something with clownfish on it, or well, this one definitely the most. But here's the other one. Let me go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff. I'm gonna actually leave those folders open because where is, I need the vertical one. Didn't I already have that one up? Did I lose it? Oh, here it is. So here's the vertical one for that. I want to remove these. I do not need those lines. Oh, I know why. Now I see why those lines would be handy. We'll go ahead and leave those. I changed my mind. It's because when I put my image on there, I'll still see the lines through it. Common sense just clicked in. One of the designs that I really would like, see, this is why this is not a Photoshop tutorial. My brain is just not always doing what it's supposed to be doing. This clownfish, ooh, wait, my watercolor clownfish. So, okay, let's actually pull both of these up. Let's pull you. I don't think I'm dropping that where I want it to. Did I? I did. And I want to pull up this other one. And I'll talk to you about why I would choose one over the other. I need it without the watermark, the video, or print. Okay, so these 2 paintings, these would also be suitable for this event. Now, these 2 paintings are not paintings that people are going to remember me because of. Yeah, impressive. It's super, you know, detailed and realistic, and most people are going to think it's a photograph. Most people are not going to realize it's artwork. Plus, everyone else's business card there has probably similar fish, and theirs are photographs of fish. Mine is not, but they don't necessarily know that. Now, this one is more obviously a painting. That one, the colors, the everything, that one may be a better fit than the other fish. But even so, when this is shrunk down, it still kind of looks like a photograph when it's shrunk small enough to be on a business card. So, in these cases, it may be a good idea for me to include paintbrushes, like a photo of the painting with paintbrushes across it. I can Photoshop that in if I want, or in this one would be pencils, not that. I need something that indicates that this is a painting, that this is, I mean, that's something to consider, or either that, or when I talk to people, I have to let them know this is a painting. But I don't think, let's say I have this printed, and I am actually probably going to have this printed too, but I don't think people are going to remember me because of this painting. It looks like yes, other than, wow, that's one of my favorite paintings. It's super, I mean, skill level is there, but it doesn't have what the lion does. The lion is, get rid of the flourishes. Don't like the flourishes. The lion is so unique. That's what's people are going to remember. Now, I do like color-wise the clownfish, especially this one. I think those colors are so striking, so I think it'll be beautiful on a card. I probably am going to go with this one over the other one. We'll see. I'll try them both out. Maybe I'll get them all. But again, I don't think that this is going to create that kind of emotional response where people see this and they remember whatever they felt when they saw the painting. They'll look at the painting and go, wow, that was good. You look at the lion and people will have a little bit more of an like that response of, it kind of makes you think like, wait, what is happening here? That is going to be a more suitable, the lion would be more suitable for getting people to remember me, to getting people to remember whatever conversation they had with me. Hopefully, you know, I'm nice to them and not a jerk, and the memory isn't that I hated that girl and don't want anything from her. But, you know, trying to pick the thing that they're going to remember you by. That is what you want. What is your showstopper piece? What is your main piece? When they go, let's say you're at an art show, you've got your paintings hanging behind you. Do you have one main piece that people really look at? That's the one you want to use. Which one draws the most attention? Like, I'm not taking that painting with the lion. I won't be there trying to sell the original painting. I'm there trying to sell prints of the painting, but not the painting itself. But that painting, having seen the original, could be the thing that makes them remember me. If that makes, I don't know, I'm rambling now, I'm tired. But that should hopefully make a little bit more sense. So with this one, going back to, let's open up the right files, or the right folder, whatever, I've got too many things open. Okay, let's see. I've got a few questions I want to catch up on really quick. Heather said, can I just have one of these business cards? Love the piece. Yeah, you can if you come to the show. I'm giving them away, but otherwise it's too much effort to ship stuff. Let's see. We've got, I'm off to bed. Wanted to get on and say hi to everyone. Hope to make the next one. Good night, Zaya. Let's see. Ursi says, keeping the business cards simple and elegant in design gets more business most of the time. Yep. Let's see. Art of Raven D said, I remember shrinking my card on GIMP to see how it looks, and then the font becomes too hard to read, and then try another size. Yeah, you want to look at things smaller. Rebecca says, I need to learn how to do what you're doing now. What, screw up Photoshop? I'm an expert at it, hitting the wrong buttons. Miriam said, thank you for sharing. Kathy said, I like the idea of the line being in gold. Ooh, the line in gold. See, I kind of like that I'm going to play around with the gold concept a little bit more. I'm not sure with Vistaprint because I've never tried it before. I may play with that because I really do like that concept. Susan said, I put a calendar on the back because it gave them another reason to keep it in their wallet. See, now, and that's what I talked about earlier. You probably weren't here for that part of the thing. Don't do that. You're wasting real estate when you put a calendar. Putting a calendar on the back of your card was a great way to go before smartphones. Everyone has smartphones. No one's going to keep a business card just so they can have a calendar. I understand the thinking because that used to be the case. Well, I mean, every business card had a calendar at the time. But I mean, that was back then handy. It is absolutely a waste of real estate and pointless now in today's times because I've got my calendar like most people. I mean, where's my phone? I found the phone, but where's the... I'm getting a calendar right on my screen. I mean, it's right there. It's probably not picking up the thing. Plus, then I can open my app and have right there my whole Google Calendar. No one needs a calendar on a card anymore. Unless they're like 80. Maybe they'd prefer that. My grandmother might. But don't waste that real estate. Your business card is tiny. This is how much room you have. I would rather see a blank back of a card that somebody could put notes on or something they would remember they talked to you about, price quote, whatever, than a calendar. A calendar is an absolute waste of that real estate. Blank is better than a calendar now. So you don't need it, basically. So, I mean, and I understand why you're doing it because that used to be the way to go. It's just not now. I mean, even now I look at my wallet. I keep my wallet is like this flimsy. It just holds my ATM cards and my license. But I don't have room to store a bunch of business cards. I have business cards in this drawer next to me that are thrown in there that I'm probably never going to look at. Even then, business cards, I mean, most people have apps that they'll scan the card into their phone or whatever. We just don't need that anymore. So, just keep that in mind. Thanks, Art. Thanks, Art of Raven D. Oh, thank you, Tamara. You're so sweet. Let's see. Okay, so now one of the reasons that, Miriam, that is a good thing. Miriam said, what about your octopus painting? See, my octopus painting is another one I should probably have prints of and bring with me to that show. I didn't even think about that. Oh, you are, yeah, I guess that one and then the lion would probably be the two that I would put the effort into prints on, and then any other prints people could order off my website. But, oh my gosh, you are a genius. Wow. Okay, that is perfect. So I'm really glad you mentioned that because I don't know why that thought hadn't crossed my mind. I was trying to think of different things I would have prints there. I'm gonna have I'll have postcards made of a few things like this one, but no, that octopus is a must. So you're a genius. So the clownfish. Now, one of the reasons this clownfish, looking at as far as just the paint, will tell it's a clownfish. I'll probably crop it a little bit more, but I mean that still works. Whereas, let's say if we do that with the lion. Oh, that's way too small. Maybe not that small. Let's try. Let's see. How big is that for the... Okay, I could go a little bit bigger and still be about with my business card. Maybe a little bit bigger. That's bigger than a business card. I can see enough that if I've seen the painting, I know what that is and I remember. But if I've never seen that painting, I would look at this and go, it's a big WTF moment. Like, what is that? What is it? Is that an alien? What is that? This is a bad business card design unless the person saw the painting and I'm trying to get them to remember me because I need them to remember that painting. So you can see the difference size-wise, whereas this guy, which I've already apparently lost, there we go. He would be the size about, okay, that's actually a little too big. But if you look at a business card, now it would be vertical this way. I can still see what that is. I look at the lion. Where did he go? I lost the lion. Unless, like I said, unless you've seen the painting in person, that business card, you're not going to call me. So the only reason I'm going to use this business card is for an event like this. An event where people saw the original. Otherwise, this is the one that I'm going to be going with. So let's actually go ahead and play with him. Woo, that was too big. Actually, let's make my life a little bit easier. And just drag him onto the file itself so I don't have to go through the process of resizing. I'll probably go lower. I don't need my, there we go. I need to see some, well, maybe not that much lower. I don't know. I need to see some of the anemone for that to work. Decisions. Do I want that much to show? I don't know yet. I'll have to decide. But let's go. What would be my next step then? I would go with, let's add a layer fill. Now, my typical colors are going to be my teal color, but on this painting, it's probably not going to work out as well. I might be better off with like a magenta, something deep and dark, and I can put white lettering. That may work. I mean, in doing this, I'm not fitting with my logo, but I'm afraid, or not my logo, my color theme, my brand, I guess. But I might be able to make that. Let's see if I can make this work. Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to steal my lines from the lion. Oops, that's not what I wanted. The line. And the thicker line. I'll just take both of these. Okay. Let's drop the print down. I may readjust the size of the print, but if I played around with, I might be able to incorporate my brand color in with this. Right now, I'm not loving it. I'm thinking more of a purple would probably, yeah, purple is probably going to be the one that I go with, but let's go ahead and, oh, that's why. You're just in the wrong place. Let's play with that a little bit. So this is where I'm, like, see how I'm doing the color matching? I'm picking colors that are in the painting. I can adjust a little bit more. That's a pretty, the purple and orange and reds just look really nice together. So I'm trying to go with colors that are actually in the painting. I'm guaranteed that they'll work if I do that. Let's go ahead and play with this. So again, I mean, I don't love the idea of having a business card that is not my brand colors. My brand colors are teal. If you go to my website, like if you see my business card with this, you know, oh wait, I don't need this. Hold on. I've got too many things open. You can go away. You can go away. You're what I want. If you see that and then you go to my website, the colors all kind of go. I'd like it to be a little bit, well, kind of. I'd like them to be a little bit more obvious. If someone goes to my site, this is definitely that person. But It's got my name. It'll be fine. I think the teal just wasn't working for me, so I think I'm going to have to go with the purple. But these colors do really work. I also like the white bar here because, let's make this a little thicker. I really like the white bar because it pulls out the white of that clownfish. So let's put you there. I'm going to take the thin line. I like the thin and the thick together. So that's good. Let's shrink you back down so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, that line is too thick. But does it make sense though? I mean, how I'm going back and forth and just like, whoa, that's not what I wanted. Trying to figure out what's going to look best. Nope, not you. You were fine. You were the one I didn't like. Shrink you down. Oh, I might like the gap there though. That might be cute. Let's see. Now that I'm starting to like. That is looking much better. Rebecca said dark purple, possibly, and I'm going to play with that for sure. The logo of the goldfish of teal on top of the business card with clownfish would look great. Oh, you know, that, yeah, the logo from the one pulled over onto this one may be a good, that alone. You're right. You know, in the logo, in this case, this may be a reason that a logo, where earlier I was saying, you know, you don't really need a logo. In this case, the logo may be thing that helps me because I'm not sticking with the color theme. My logo with the goldfish, which fits for this show too, being on here may be a really good, no, you guys are right, good call. Yeah, the purple here, the magenta, it's magenta and orange are my favorite, so I could try a deeper color. And Vistaprint, by the way, has a tendency to print things a bit darker than whatever shows on my monitor. So just something to keep in mind. So this would probably be as dark as I would want to go. And then I can make my font in white. So I'd kind of like to recreate something similar to, I'm trying to think, I mean, I can write on here acrylic painting, but my font would be so small that, like, you've got to, basically thinking about how do I make sure that the business card doesn't make people think I'm just taking photographs, that when I say fine art, a lot of people don't understand what I mean by fine art. They may think that's the same thing as photography. And you've got to figure out, when this is small, it's just going to look like a photograph. Plus, this is a photograph, or not a photograph, my reference photo was from Graphic Stock. That image has been used on people's websites. It is other places, so they probably would just assume it's that one. But, yeah, I've got to figure out then. Yeah, we'll play with that. Okay, so I do know I need my logo, which is, there it is. Okay, so I've got you. I need to come back to you. My logo is going to want to go on here. If I can drag it where I want it. Nope, that's not. Maybe I should drag the thing that I'm so bad about targeting the wrong layer. Okay, you go away. You shrink way down. You'll go on here somewhere. I'm not sure where yet. I'm going to have to play with that because I've got to have, it'll have Lachri fine art, and I can write, what I will end up doing is writing the font now. And I'm probably going to go with the George, whatever. I'm writing the font Georgina or something like that. I'm going to write the font in now, but before I upload it to Vistaprint, I'm going to delete the font and rewrite the font on their website because it just always comes out much, much more crisp. Every time I've tried writing the font in Photoshop, saving it and doing it, it degrades just enough that it's a little bit harder to read. So, I mean, yeah, I'd like to stick with the same font that's on my website. This is, you know, we're going with close enough. I've just got to go with something people can read. And we'll probably, I really want to pretty much end up copying the same layout as what this is, just with the different paintings. So I'll play around with that and mess around with those settings. But that gives you a general idea. So hopefully this helps you guys with, and I'm going to come through and start answering some questions, but hopefully this helps you guys with understanding what works and doesn't work and why you may choose something. Like I said, with this lion, in almost every single case, I would say this is a horrible business card design, because when it's small like this, you can't see what that is. You only know what that is if you've seen it large. So this is a weird instance where I still think it's going to be the better fit. Now, on the flip side, this would typically be the better way to go. Or, you know, well, okay, I still need to put all my information on there, but something like this, where I've got a painting, but when it's small, I'm still going to see what it is. The problem is I don't think they're going to remember me because of that painting. They're going to remember me from the lion. So I may end up printing less of the lion because the only event that I'm going to be passing these out would be that one where people saw the original. So I don't think I'm going to, I was originally thinking 2,000. I think I may only print, I need to see how many tickets that they're selling to this event, but I'm thinking I'll probably only sell or do 1,000 and then do maybe 1,500 of this one. Because this is the one that, much like my owl, I could use for anything. The only reason, where'd the owl go? I lost my owl. The only reason that I'm not doing the owl at this event is there aren't owls at this event. Well, there actually might be. I don't know. There's some other little critters and animals. I don't think owls would be one. Never know. But, this isn't going to be one that's necessarily suitable for this event. And that's where fish really are. But like I said, don't think most people, like if I were to walk around at booths and pass, you know, talk to the vendors and stuff and pass out cards, this would be the one that I would go with. If people are coming up to my booth and they've seen the painting, I'm going with the lion. So having one for different situations is a really good way to go. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions here. Let's see. Joseph said, that is because Photoshop is not designed for text. You use Illustrator for text and merge it into Photoshop. Ah, so I don't use Illustrator. I don't know. You saw me fumbling with it earlier. I do not know. I've had the program on here because it's a part of my package with Adobe. I've never used it before. Good to know. I may be asking you some questions later. But, yeah, that's definitely not something I know anything about. But if that's the case, because I've got fonts that I paid for. So fonts, you have to watch. You can't, like, there are websites that you can go to and download fonts for free, but you can only use them for, like, personal use, not business use, not what they call commercial or whatever. You've got to watch what the licensing is on a lot of those. But there are other ones where you can use them for, like, let's say I wanted to have mugs painted with this, or printed with this goldfish, this clownfish on it. I could use the font in some of those because I bought the license for the font. So watch which fonts you use. You can't just use all of the free ones and be good with that. But, okay, good. More of you are saying that about the Illustrator. I may try that. I'm going to have to pick your brain because you don't do enough to help me out. Speaking of helping me out, make sure to thank the Art of Joseph Finch and Nick Edgar. Their channels are listed in the video description. They've got art channels here on YouTube. Go over to their channels, tell them hi, tell them thank you, subscribe. But they do so much to help me, so definitely check them out. Yep, more commenting or sees the Illustrator is best for type and text. I didn't even know that. I mean, I had no idea. That's really interesting. So I'll probably put the text on this way, but then delete it and go play with it in Illustrator. I'm going to have to mess around with that tonight. I'm not going to do it right now because there will be swear words and then I'll get demonetized and, you know, learning something new. Always swear words involved. Let's see. We've got 7 more minutes. If you guys have any questions or something, I'm trying to think of anything else I want to cover. I definitely need to look through more page dividers. This one I was surprised didn't have more. I guess they have the weird, what are these ones? I also need to look, those are terrible. This is not 1980. I need to look and see how the gold font will work. Actually, no, let's remove you. I want to see what happens. Just delete. Let's put you back up here. Let's see if we can find anything with gold print. Can I choose? Custom color, all colors, recommended. Is this actually gold or is that just the color? Would it print gold? I have got to find this out. Chicken's also in there screaming for me. Yep, about 10 o'clock. He expects to be held. How does the gold... I know that they do gold. Let's see. Metallic. Okay, that's what I think I saw. Metallic business cards. Let's see what that is. I don't think that's going to actually be what I need. Oh, maybe. Or is it only their design? Let's find out. Horizontal, premium, glossy. Oh, those would be expensive. Oh, no, they're not. No, oh, that's not terrible. I could do that. and see what happens when I start designing these. If I could have like a gold bar go across, that would be pretty cool. Come on. Load. Because the front of it could say, even if it wasn't as clear as the white would be, it would still be worth doing because the back of the card would have my actual information. Okay, where would you like metallic finish applied? No, I don't want you to do the option. If you have specific instructions, please add them here. Oh, this may not. Oh, wait, text only. Okay, where's text? Add new text. That's gonna need some work. I wonder what, well, definitely something bold would be good. Let's just grab that for now. And, oh wait, color, recommended colors. I guess that if I'm going gold. Why, do you do gold? Wait, what? Oh, it's metallic. Huh. Custom colors? No. I'm going to have to definitely look into this a bit more because I'm not sure how all of this works. If I can do artwork only, text and artwork. What would that mean? I don't even know. I would definitely have to look more into that. And you could, even if that was gold, I don't even think you'd see it. I probably would be better off with white. I don't know. I haven't decided on that. We'll have to think about that, and I'll keep playing with some of these designs in the meantime. Whoops, that's not the button I meant to hit. Let's see. Okay, so Ursi said, just import your finished work from Illustrator to Photoshop. Wait. From Illustrator to Photoshop, but the text is done in Illustrator. Or the other way around? I don't know. I'll have to play with that. Drop shadow gold. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to play with that. Melody said, what about leaving the artwork on one side and adding your logo contact information on the other? That's what I'm going to do is my artwork, but I'm still going to have the Lachri fine art, I think in white probably, going across the front. And then the other side will have my logo and all of that. But for that card, I think I'm going to do it that way. Ursi said, do a brilliant metallic for your business card. See, I've never done metallic before, so I'm really not even sure. What is this? Art of Raven do? Oh. I don't know what is loading right now. Oh, I know it's loading. It's the stupid Firefox. Close Firefox. I do not use that. I only use that to check my website to make sure everything's laying out properly. Go away. Don't warn me. Just close them. Close. Don't need you. Go away. Let's see. My whole computer is all upset now because I opened that tab on accident. Yeah, I'll look into a little bit more on the designing of the metallic cards, but I'm not sure. This one for sure will not have metallic. The one with the lion, it might be cool, but it might be a little, not as cool as I think it would be. I could actually take, if I wanted to test it, I could print the lion like on small form and then like a metallic gold marker and write over it and see if I even like how that looks. I could kind of do that as a test, but I don't know. Let's see. Miriam said, so is your lion and octopus painting out for business cards? The lion I am going to use for this single event. The octopus, no, the octopus would be even worse. You really would have a hard time seeing anything with that guy. But I'll have at that event, I'm planning to have prints and postcards of both of those. So, I mean, normally, like I am going to do the lion for this postcard, but this is probably the only place that I would use that postcard, or not, I should say postcard, the card. So it's not one that I'm going to print a million of, knowing besides this event, you're not going to see it. I mean, I would almost be going back to this where you can't read any, I mean, I'll put the text will be on the back, but it would almost be like that where it's like, there's too much stuff. Stop trying to fit all the stuff. The only reason I want this one on that card is because of this event, and I'm going to be really showcasing that painting. Let's see. Ursi said, just use Illustrator first for text and then go to Photoshop to import Illustrator options. That always looks best. Huh. Okay, I'm going to have to play with that. I've never tried doing that. Like, seriously, I didn't even I've never opened Illustrator except when I was messing with some of those flourishes. It automatically, when I clicked it, it opened in that file, and it was like, oh, I didn't even know what the layout looked like in this program. So yeah, okay, so text first. That makes sense. Tasha said, I like the idea of glossy white front on a matte card instead of the metallic. Probably cheaper too. I'm going to do the whole card gloss because the gloss looks, with the artwork, I found looks so much better than matte. Like, way better. So that is going to be my preference there. But yeah, I guess we're done then. It is 10:01. Make sure to check out our moderator channels. Joseph and... Why does my brain always shuts down when I go to say Nick's name, and I don't know why it does that. That's my brother's name. You'd think I would remember it. I remember his last name better than his first name. But anyway, their channels are in the video description. Make sure to check them out and say thank you. Tell them thank you for helping me. Yeah, let's see. Oh, Art Raven D said, how about just having the head and shoulder portion of the lion on the card? And that may be what I do, because that blown up still looks good, and I think people would still remember that. So I'm going to play with that. May be a possibility. What I'll do, once the cards are designed, I'm going to post them on social media, or maybe when I get them. I'll post them on social media so you guys can see what I ended up with. But, yep, that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining tonight. And, yeah, we're done. I'm going to go visit Chicken. And... talk to my cleaner shrimp, because that's what normal people do. I got a saltwater aquarium, and now my shrimp are like my favorite things. It's a little one. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. I don't know what next week is. Nope, I have no idea what I'll be wearing. Maybe the zebra with my new zebra. Surreal. Kind of like this concept, but with a zebra. Way less colorful, though, for the theme. But anyway, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining.